opportunity to talk to a driver who's been on this road for years. I hope you guys enjoy this interview. You know, one of the things that I felt like I stayed where I was for such a long time was because of my truck. Mm-hmm. Because you develop a relationship with this equipment.
You do.
And I was trying to explain it to someone, and I just told them, I said, you don't understand. She's my protector. Mm-hmm. She's my caregiver. She's also, like, in a way, almost a mother. Like, she takes care of my kids if I need them to be in there with me at any time.
It's like when you take
keeps everybody safe. And it's just so...
It's a relationship you build with your truck. I mean, it's home.
Yeah.
It's home. I used to take my wife, she probably made 20 or 30 trips throughout the years when Happy Man was still open. My wife been up and down Happy Man every time.
Really? Yeah.
She got her nickname there, Mrs. Moon, on Happy Man.
Really?
Oh, yes. But we were, I don't even know this again. But like say, the lights and the relationship.
Yeah.
I go to climb the hill and touch dash. Come on, baby, let's do this.
Yeah, I do that all the time. You got this, girl.
Yeah.
Or what a good truck.
Yeah. What are you doing? I said, you gotta talk nice to her.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I said, watch. Talk nice, get over the hill. I get over the hill. Come on, bitch, let's go. She said, I thought you were talking nice. I did. I used her. She did what I wanted. I can't believe you talk like that.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, darling.
The people who I talk to want to know about you, right? I'm not going to stop you from eating your crackers. You can have them all you want. But you know what interests me the most about what it is that we do is that road and the history of it.
Yes.
So when I first began to be, I wouldn't say intrigued, because I've always been intrigued by it, but when I first had the interest of going up there, everyone always told me, well, that road's too dangerous, you have to do, pogo for 2 years before you can go up there, and, get used to being on that road before you can, and I'm not gonna lie, it is dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. But I believe that it's a lot different than it used to be.
Oh, it is a lot different.
I mean, driving up there is seeing, this year alone, we saw Happy Man, huge Happy Man, Happy Jack, all the discussions that people have talked about with that. Like, was there really a horse shop at the bottom of the hill?
No, there was a tire shop.
It was a tire shop.
It was a tire shop. Right there where the rock quarry was.
Okay, because people are talking like that.
Oh, yes. You hear all kinds of stories on that road. It's different places. The Knob. Yeah. For example.
Yeah, why it got Gobbler's Knob is the name of the...
There you go.
We can speculate.
And just like Finger Mountain, when they first, why they, Finger Mountain, what do you mean? Well, if you look, there's a rock over there.
Looks like a...
That looks like you get the finger.
Yeah.
But you know how long I run that road before I seen that rock? A long time.
Yeah.
And then when I find it, it's like, oh my God. It's right there.
It looks like a finger.
But yeah, and then when I first started running that road, the pavement ended at the water hole, 28 mile.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am. From there on was dirt.
This is the same highway before, when I ran with him. He actually showed me parts of the old road.
That road, I never get to run that one. But that one there was, if you came back to town after running that road and you had your driver's mirror, you did good.
That's what he told me.
Yes, that road was so friggin' narrow.
Wow.
It was, like I say, I was never on it. I've heard the stories. I've seen parts of it.
Right.
But when you hear them guys talking, if you came back to town with your driver's mirror, I was like, driver's mirror? What the hell are you talking about? That's only, that far away. But now that I started in 81, when I first started, the water hole was the end of the pavement. It used to be guys would take trailers up to the weight, when the weight restriction was coming on, and they'd stay at the trailers, off the pavement. It was always off the pavement. So you could load them before the weight restrictions, and then when weight restrictions come on, you couldn't, you're restricted under 75% or 50% or whatever they put on. So they'd load, I mean, any trailer in this friggin' town, they'd be up there at the water hole line all the way down through there until the cops got wind of it. Then you go hook on your trailer and there's a little ticket on it. MI used to stop at the top of the hill before you drop off the big parking lot on top of by Whitetail or whatever the heck that park is up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you look, when you pull in the parking lot, there's a road to that pipeline. There's a big field out there. Well, they had drilling mud stacked back there like it was a yard. And they had a loader. They leave here, go through the scale, they go up there, add the rest of the drilling mud, and away they would go.
Oh my gosh.
We
Wow.
used to have a bulker sitting up at the hilltop for when we were hauling mud, cement.
Mm-hmm.
And we would pull up to that, top off our load, and away we would go.
Add a little bit more.
Everybody just, out
Wow.
of 3 bulkers, we'd make 2. But that's the way it used to be. We didn't have, it was dirt. Like I said, it was dirt the whole way.
The whole way.
The whole way. There was no chip seal, there was no pavement, there was nothing. All the way to Prudhoe Bay, and in Prudhoe Bay was dirt. Ended at the water hole.
Right.
Is where the pavement ended. And it was dirt the whole way. The road was in better shape
Yeah.
because you can blade it, you can fix it.
Right. And that was actually something that we talked about today was, the difference between the gravel versus
The chip seal or pavement.
and chip seal.
Because when that goes, you get your holes, you get your soft spots, whatever. They don't fix it. You can't fix it. Now you're driving through it.
Yeah.
I've got all kinds of videos that I talked to a gentleman who's way up in a different place. I'm not going to say names or anything. That I'm going to send to him and write up a deal on it and try and get some backing so they'll fix this friggin' road. This state, if there's pavement out there, they get money for it.
Right.
Just like dropping off the koi cup, you have one little strip. It's like, what in the hell? Or you get down there by Grayling Lake and you got a little bit of dirt, you got these friggin' sinkholes and all this stuff,
Yeah.
and they put a little dirt in it. One truck goes by, the dirt comes out.
Yeah. I remember that one that went all the way across the road this last summer.
And they finally cut it out. I talked to the head of the DOT here in town, who was in charge of the haul road, because they had a trimmer there.
A trimmer.
It's like a loader with the big cutting wheel on the head of it.
Oh,
Where the bucket
okay.
goes, it's a trimmer they call it.
Is
They
that
use it on ice roads and all that stuff.
so?
to make
That's
the
for
chips. Grinding up.
Okay, for
Grinding.
specifically the pavement.
You can use it for pavement, you can use it for dirt, you can use it
Okay.
for ice chips. It's just whatever. It's got their carbide tip teeth that they can change.
Interesting.
But they call it trimmer is what it is.
Okay.
And I called him. I said, now that you got that thing sitting there, you're going to grind all that all the way up to maybe the pipe crossing there before you get to pump 5? Get rid of all that crap?
Yeah.
Well, it cost me $50,000 a month. I said, it's been sitting there for 2 days. They had it at Manley the rest of the time. They hauled it up there for 2 days for that one little stretch they did. And then I asked them about the shelf. We've been fighting this mud for 2 years.
Yeah.
Chaining up. I've chained up more in the mud than I have in the frickin' winter time.
Yeah.
And guys get stuck and spinning out up against the guardrail and everything else.
It almost took me out this year. I had thrown a set of chains even because I knew I was like, I'm not messing with this. I'm just gonna, cross my T's, dot my I's, threw my 7mm trigs, and I was going up it, and I went whoop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
It takes it out of you.
It yeah. What do you call that? The pucker
factor? Yeah. Yeah, I know that factor.
Yeah. No, that was mind-boggling to me.
Yes, and especially and you're in the wintertime when we have chains on, it makes you feel secure.
Right.
Okay, I got this. I got traction. I got them on the ground. We got this.
Right.
In the mud, it doesn't help. It does, but it don't. Just like what you did. You still slid sideways.
Oh yeah, I went. And the more momentum I had, the more it threw me out.
Yep.
That's why I had to hold off. I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Freaked me out. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And like I say,
It doesn't act like ice, yeah.
No, it's completely different. You have basically no control.
Yeah.
You can dig through it, but as everybody digs to it, it gets worse and worse and worse.
Right.
But I asked him about this. He has been a thorn in our side. We're trying to figure out. What would they do this year after all the trucking companies got together and said, hey, something's got to be done?
Right.
Look what they did. They went and fixed the friggin' hill.
Is
All
it fixed for, like, is it fixed 100% or is it just Band-Aided?
I think it's probably healed up pretty good. They put some pretty good
Okay.
rock in there, boulders,
They had
and
some
then they did put a
pretty
top
big
on
boulders,
it.
yeah.
They did put a top on it.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
there, it's like Mackey. Mackey right now is the best it's been in years.
Really?
Yes, they did the same thing. They put gravel on, you know, big boulders,
Mhm.
and then they went ahead and topped it with about 6 inches or maybe even a foot of good stuff.
Wow,
Unreal.
wow.
It's still rough getting to it, but you got the hills in good shape.
But the
It
hills
is
in
getting
good
better.
shape.
But all this, you know, last year me and you were talking, in fact, coming up 5 Mile with the washboard at the bottom.
Yeah,
Guess what they have this year?
what?
Washboard at the bottom. Because they won't get out there and fix the friggin' road when it starts to freeze up.
So that is preventable.
Yes.
See, I thought it was just strictly because of the rain.
No. If
And-
they would go out there when after the rain stops, and that's what gives me about the state too. They will, let's say it's been raining for 5 or 6 days. Okay, you got potholes, it's rough, they're wet
Right.
water. Once it quits raining, they don't get out there and fix it. They wait till it gets hard, then oh, we gotta have a water truck. So now
You
instead
know,
of
I never, I mean, I see it, but it never actually registered to me.
Instead of
That's
using an extra
interesting.
man and another blade or something else, they wait till it's so friggin' hard that they have to put water on. Then they soup the heck out of it like it just was when it was raining.
And then all of your equipment
And,
gets calcium
and every gets
all
the
over
calcium
it.
and you're all started over with the slime again.
Wow.
They don't, well, you've seen the painted lines on the pavement where they went up and painted, you know, like coal foot and all that through there, they painted the lines on the pavement. Why? We know where the road's at.
Right.
You can't see it now. All summer long it was just black pavement. Now all of a sudden, oh, we got to paint lines on it. So they paint the lines, and then what do they do next? They go out there and fill all the low spots and stuff in with asphalt. So you just covered up all your paint you just did. It's wasteful.
Yeah.
It's wasteful money. It's like a good example, like, okay, you're gonna go shopping one day. You're gonna hit all these different stores.
Right.
Do you go to this store and then come back over to this store and go over to this store? No, you work your way around. You either go to
Right.
the far end and work your way back.
Strategic.
Yes.
Yeah.
The state doesn't do it. I've noticed these blades and these snow plows in town here lately. We've got a skiff of snow and they're plowing like crazy. Wait till this winter when you get the big ruts of the snow and all that, they won't be scratching it. We don't have any money. You watch. They did the same thing last year. If you had a low riding car, you weren't crossing them things because you tear the front end out of it, all the plastic off the front. I seen them today, there was 5 of them in a row. Plowing a little bit of skiff. But wait till when you really need them. And they're not doing nothing. Okay, now we gotta go out there with loaders and blades and scratch the crap out trying to get this stuff off.
Throw a bunch of salt or gravel.
That liquid crap they put on the roads. Yeah, it's just, they do it way different than I would do it. You know, we're the working ones. We know what it takes to do it. We know what it costs to do it.
Well, I don't. You might. I don't.
Well, even for let's say your driveway,
Right.
you know, what it takes to keep your driveway clean.
Well, obviously, I'd paint the lines first, and then throw.
Yeah. Let's go on.
Then seal it.
It's seal, yeah. It's like, it's just, I don't understand the logic of sometimes why they spend the money the way they do. The Hall Road, for example. Where does the money come from in the state? The oil field.
Right.
Why do we have to drive on the shittiest road there is? It's dangerous enough. We all know that.
Right.
But now we have potholes that are foot deep that you're trying to swerve around them.
Do you remember that one at the bottom of Quaid Cook this
Yes,
year?
I am.
I got a video of that shit. So we were driving by. I'm gonna post that because that was
Yeah.
that was Volvo size.
Yes, I've got.
Like Volkswagen.
I was supposed to take pictures. I took videos. I wasn't stopping at all the potholes and stuff.
Oh man.
I am going to advocate. Right now, it's not feasible for us.
Right.
But when summertime comes, I'm going to push every button I can. I don't care what kind of trouble I get into to get this friggin' road fixed.
Yeah.
Like I said, we drive a dangerous road to begin with.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
Right.
Why do we have to put these extra obstacles in there for us to deal with?
Well, And I've been told some conflicting things. There was that incident about 30 miles outside of Prudhoe Bay. There was a driver who was heading north in a blow. And according to some of the sources that I've heard, that incident itself was caused by a large pothole in the road.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was very experienced. She was very knowledgeable.
I was working on the slope and we went to retrieve that. I've got pictures of it. When we went out there, the friggin' state was out there blading the road to cover their ass. That should not have happened. I didn't know her.
Right. She was well loved.
It's family.
Yeah.
Everybody on that road is family. You have a problem, everybody stops.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know faces.
Mm-hmm.
They know you in your truck.
Right.
But that there gets me every time I think about it.
Yeah.
Should not have happened. Should not have happened.
Right.
And for them to go out there and cover their ass like they did when we went out to retrieve that shows that they were negligent. And people were complaining about that stretch for a long time. And it always takes, and it doesn't matter where you're at, whether it's up there or somewhere else, a bad stretch of road or a corner or an intersection, it always takes somebody losing their life before they'll get off their ass and fix it. And people know about it. That one, like I say, shouldn't happen.
It was preventable.
Yep, 100% preventable. One thing a person has to realize, whatever's in that cab, when you roll over, you're gonna get hit with it.
Right, projectiles.
You got it.
Yeah, I used to keep my hammer to check my tires. I used to keep that right next to the seat.
Don't more do you?
No.
It's all in the sleeper.
It's all under the bunk. Yeah, yeah.
All my
no.
stuff is.
I keep my gloves down there, but
That's yeah.
it's super simple.
But the biggest thing I have in mind is my drinks. And my drinks, mine is between the seats. It's where I can reach them. I do not. And I have caught myself the other day. I did it. I was chewing my own ass for it. Reaching back and grabbing something.
Right.
Taking your eyes off that road.
That's what you were telling me happened with Chucky
Yep.
on Chucky's corner.
They're not sure if he was reaching for a tape, sun was in his eyes, or what.
He was reaching for a tape.
They're not sure what he was reaching for, or the sun was in his eyes when he came around that right-hand corner and just got straightened out.
So he was headed north.
South. He was going south.
See, I thought he was headed north.
No, he was going south.
Oh.
It was Chucky, Bruce, there was 2 or 3 other of our drivers. They all stopped at the river and had breakfast, and Chucky was out front when they come around the corner.
So he was running with some people. So
Oh yeah,
even-
there was 3 or 4 guys running with him when it happened. He had a little pipe on, and right there where his cross
That's why I thought he was going north, was because he.
had pipe on,
Yeah.
backhaul.
It was a backhaul. Okay.
But right where his cross is where it happened. But that dirt wasn't there. If you look at that bank over on the left-hand side, that little nook,
Mhm.
that's where they took the dirt and state and filled that in for him. So they put the cross there. When he went off, it was like that when it touched. It was completely upside down when the truck touched the ground.
So it wasn't the pipe that killed him. Okay. It was the impact and rolling.
The spotlight.
The spotlight.
His truck older trucks used to have a spotlight.
Right.
The tallest thing in that truck was the dash. When you sit in your truck, how far do you sit above your dash? There you go.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. The spotlight got him in the head, and his driver's seat was broke off right here. It took him 8 hours to get him out of that truck. 30 below with fuel ripping on him. Yeah. It was not really safe. His mom and dad, they flew them up there
They did.
to the scene.
Oh my gosh.
His brother brought that truck from Fairbanks to Anchorage. After. They had it tarped and all that. Still regrets it to this day that he hauled that truck.
Yeah, I could
And
imagine.
his mom and dad both told him, don't do it. No, I'm going to haul my brother's truck. He regrets it. The second he says it, he starts crying.
I can imagine.
And the thing was with that,
Long period of time to look in that mirror.
yeah, and no, that was the last. And the name of the truck was his mom. She did not want him driving the truck. She told him, any college you want to go to, I will send you to it. He wanted to drive truck. Chick was a good kid. I knew him very well. I worked for him. I worked for his dad and mom. I worked there. I was there for 10 years. That's where I started running the road. He was at that company. But Chucky was cool. He was a good kid. But just like a lot of them, there's a lot of crosses on that road. There's a lot of places that don't have crosses. And a big majority of them is somebody reaching for something. Taking your eye off the road. You can do it on the highway, and yeah, you catch yourself. That road is unforgiving.
Right.
Yeah, we meet side by side, we meet trucks. It's wide enough to meet traffic and all that. But it's just, when you lean to the right to grab something, you turn to the right. And most of them, on the way up, are on the right-hand side. Cliff, years ago. Matter of fact, right on top of 25 Mile.
That's a radio channel.
Yeah.
That must have been his.
Yes. Was his name. His handle was. That man, he was one of our heavy haulers. He would run he'd run 100 trips a year. From Fairbanks to Pearl.
Wow.
And heavy.
Right. Heavy haul.
Yeah, he was heavy.
Wow.
He wouldn't leave town. This town was 60 or 70,000 pounds of pipe. And scale it. 5-axle tractors, 3-axle Raven trailers. Oh yeah.
Wow.
But it was back in the day, man. I mean, it had lift axles. He had a lift axle in the front and he had a small one behind the drivers. And he went up around 25 Mile, where they just got done fixing it,
Right.
and was just headed up towards the top, and he reached for a sandwich. He went off the left-hand side of the road. I was not too far behind him with a load of pipe. I come up there, what the hell, Cliff? Oh, I reached for a sandwich. Well, we couldn't pull him back up on the road because the dummy axle on the back, when he had it picked up, it was up against the frame rail of the trailer.
Oh.
Okay, it wouldn't turn. It wouldn't let it turn.
Oh.
So it's like, we got to get the air out of that tire. And he's okay. So I crawled underneath and I pulled the valve stem and I hauled ass. Got off from underneath that trailer, and it wasn't 30 seconds of air coming out of it. Boom! Blew it off the rim.
Wow.
Okay, we can get it now. I pulled up alongside of it. We run chains underneath my pipe to my passenger side, to his passenger side, and I pulled him up out of the chain, and I put all my chains on, to 2 sets on, and I pulled him out of the ditch, and up the hill we went. That man never reached for a sandwich again.
Right.
But he was one of them ones that could run that road, and I don't care, and the muddiest road it was, and he stops and gets out, it looks like he got out of the shower.
Nice and clean.
That man never got dirty. How he did it, I say trucking, I got grease on me.
Right.
But he was a neat guy. Had the horsepower. He had a black Pete, and he had a Christmas wreath on the front of it for Christmas time.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, right in the front of it. He had wire tied it on there.
Super identifiable out
Yep.
there.
Oh, he was anyway. His stuff was always clean. And I met him coming out of Pearl. I'm going in, he's coming out. We bullshit, and I seen the reef on the front. I get 28 Mile coming south. Wrecker's got a hold of this truck that had burned. And when the wrecker turned, I seen on the grill where the wreath used to be, where it burned. It was a truck. Batteries sorted out.
Oh, no.
Burned it to the ground. So he ordered another one. Well, he bought another truck to use till the new one got there, which was a cab over. And the old hilltop, like I was saying earlier, how it was. I pulled in there to get something to eat, and he was just ready to leave. And I walked up and said, hey, why don't you wait and I'll run with you. And he was in a cab over now, and he looked back at my load, and he almost hit me in the head with the door when he slammed it and closed it. You can hit. Okay, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna sack you today. I went and I whipped me. I don't know. I had to eat. I whipped it down. I take off. And my goal is to catch.
Right.
I am going to sack. Well, I get up on top where you can see the river, see the bridge. He's just crossing the bridge. He's mine. I got him. I'm thinking maybe Mackey, Sand Hill. I'll have him in that area. I'll have him.
Right.
So I put my foot in it. And I went ripping down through there, and I get up to Sand Hill. No lights, no. What the hell? Get Mackey. No lights. What in the hell? I got to thinking, there's one place where the airport used to be, at what they call it, the hot spot now.
Right after the pipe crossing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if you pull in that first road, which is where the hot spot used to be, it's blocked off right now. There's a gravel pit back there. The road used to come in and it'd come off the road, and there was a little, like, bypass, was all trees through here. And then you go into the gravel pit. Well, he pulled in there behind the trees, shut all his lights off. I go flying by, I'm catching it, he's mine, I'm gonna sack him. So I get to, Finger Mountain, no, wait a minute. And I got to thinking, there's only one place he could have been. He wasn't 15 minutes behind me when I got to Coldfoot. I'm in there sitting down, he walks, he says, you didn't sack me, did you? I said, there's one place. He says, yep, and you walked by me at Mach 10 because you were hunting. I said, yes, I was. He said, you didn't sack me, did you? I was like, no, I didn't. But that's the way we used to run the road.
Right.
We had fun. You knew everybody. Everybody was on the CB channel where you could talk to everybody.
Right.
You could ask them what the hill was, and they would tell you. Not in this, well, figure it out, or wouldn't answer you. We would call out 1 mile, 2 mile, dropping off 5 mile, coming on a corner at 7 or 8, dropping off at 10, coming off down the Hicks Creek. Everybody would call out. You knew what was coming.
Right.
20 or 68 mile, 70 mile dip.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. Everybody was calling out. And then you had the guys, they're trying to set you up to make you spin out. You knew who you could trust. Or they'd go, well, okay, you just came down that hill. If you were in my shoes going north, what would you do? Well, I would. Never mind. I'm going to stop with some chains on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've done that on the side of the hill. You get up there, perform, and everybody's like, oh, somebody's up there spun out. And you're going, yeah, just give me a minute. We used to haul pipe. We load Monday, deliver Tuesday, load Wednesday, deliver Thursday, load Friday, deliver Saturday. We had Sundays off. And I'd come to Fairbanks for a month, and we'd run 3 a week, nonstop.
Oh, wow.
Well, everybody's running together. Everybody's, well, I would stop at the knob. Everybody goes to Coldfoot, I go to the knob. I'd get up a little earlier. I go take off. Well, by the time I'm going by Coldfoot, they're just now getting in the trucks. I'm in front. I get to unload before everybody else. And everybody, the old pipe, Alaska pipe yard, where that, then the auction place is, that used to be full of pipe. And I mean, that whole place was full of pipe. Wow. You had your load time, let's say whoever you're with, your load time starts at 3 o'clock.
Right.
You'd pull in there, you'd load all your trucks, get out of there. Next company and show you. So there was pipe running down the road, more than there is now, because everything was just starting. So I'd stop at the knob, that's where I'd sleep, and I'd take off. And the guys, yeah, we're just ready to pull out.
Strategic.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in front. But I would not tell them I'm in front. I could talk to them, but I wouldn't tell them I'm in front. They think I'm behind them. Right. And I'd meet southbounders, and I always wanted to ask, what's the shelf like? And I wouldn't do it. I didn't want them guys to know where I was. Let them think I was still behind, so that whoever's out front, I'll unload first when we get to Berto. I'm thinking, hey, I got you. Till it bit me on the shelf.
Okay.
I got up there and spun out, and they weren't 10 minutes behind me.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, they're right there. I come around the left-hand corner as you start into your pull, and that's where I spun out. Everybody barefooted past me. I don't know if I hit a slick spot, what happened, but I spun out. So I'm putting chains on. As soon as I get my chains on, I'm letting the clutch out. So 2 of us are almost side by side. He finally got by me because he had a run. I wasn't shifting once you got your chains on.
Right. Yeah.
So I get to top of the shelf. Well, see you in Berto, Ron. I got to take my chains off, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm at the back of the line. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it backfired.
Not always.
But that's the way we used to do it.
Yeah.
We would mess with each other, you know. And if somebody broke down, it's not like it is now. A lot of guys will drive by you.
Now?
Yeah, I've had them drive by me. Back then, you might have 30 trucks lined up, and everybody's got their little bag or ammo box of fittings and parts, and you're headed to the front of the line. You might need a fitting this long, but when we're done, it's about that long, because nobody had the right piece.
You doing okay here? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah.
But that's the way it used to be. I mean, we enjoyed it. It was fun. We still had the nasty weather. We didn't have the bypass. Happy Man was it. When they put the bypass in, we're like, what's this shit? You know, why? And then
Good road though, right?
Right, and up like 47 mile, 41, all that up and through that. That wasn't like that.
Really?
Oh no.
I mean, I believe it, but how was it different?
When you were coming south, when you were dropping down, let's say 47, down through 46 and down to the bottom, there was 3 bumps. And at the bottom, there was a left-hand corner. If you look when you come down south, especially in the summertime, you can see it. Over next to the trees where the road used to be, and there's a friggin' huge hole there. The road used to turn right at that hole and go around it. Oh yes, there's more than once I had the pucker power. Because my dumbass would forget about that shit.
Oh, no.
Trip after trip, I'd forget about it.
Oh, wow.
You start coming down, all right, we're going downhill side, we'd pick up a gear, a couple of little rollies, and I'd, whoa, we got a corner down here. Go around the corner, and you do it again. You start, grab a couple gears, well guess what, there's one more down there. Corner just like that. I was going to stop and put ribbons in the trees so my dumb ass would remember it. But they changed all that. They widened it out, they moved it over. Now it's paved rougher and shit.
Yeah.
But all that down through there was changed. All the chip seal, we didn't have any of that. All the pavement by Coldfoot. The first time that they put a piece of pavement down in Coldfoot, we're all going, now we got a place to stop and adjust our brakes. That's what we used it for.
Right.
We used to do it at the bottom of the hilltop. Drop off a hilltop, go down on the straight flats in the bottom. That's where I'd stop and adjust my brakes. We didn't have disc brakes, it was drum brakes.
Right.
And you were always constantly drying them out. Because of the snow.
Right.
You run for a while, and you okay, I'm not stopping, I'm just gonna dry my brakes out a little bit.
Yeah.
You get in the Berto. All them flats. The road used to be, well, you probably ran it before they built it up.
Not out of Prudhoe.
No?
No.
That used to be level with the tundra.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it blew, you would have 2 or 3 mile stretches of a friggin' drift you couldn't get through. But him and I were breaking drifts. When we finally got tired of hooking the chain and unhooked, we just stayed hooked together. You bust into the drift, you get stuck, you pull them back. You bust into the drift, you pull them back. But you get in the truck, out of the truck, and give me that. In the truck, out of the truck. It's like
You might as well just stay hooked.
yeah. So we like, you know what? We did the same thing up the slide one day, busting drifts coming out of there. When I got stuck, I crawled up, got out, started to put chains on. You know what the delineator was? The middle of my rear end.
Oh wow.
That's how far I was off the road, but it was all blowed over, and you didn't know. You had no idea. I started putting chains like, I'm way off the road.
Oh
And they could pull me
gosh.
back, and we bust drift going up the hill. Yeah, we were chained up like a mother bear. The bus drifts come up that friggin' beaver slide, and we worked our asses off at it, because as soon as it slide over, you had to get out of that, because that's where your trail's gonna keep being. So you gotta
Right.
keep working at it.
Right.
And we take turns. Who's in front? You'd bust for a while, and follow me up there, and we try it for a little while. It was way different, you
Yeah.
know. Now, and I get to now where if it's blow, I hate blows. I friggin' hate them. And I worked at Berto for 26 years dealing with them things.
There's something about a blow that throws your vision.
Yes.
It's not just like, oh, white, somebody might expect like a TV
It's
screen.
like taking sand and
It's-
put it in your eyes.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yes. I hate to say it, but there's not too many of us old guys that used to run that road that are still here. I'm the last 4-star driver.
The last what?
4-star terminals.
Is that a company?
It used to be a company, yep.
Okay.
They're no longer around. Everybody else is retired. Mason, who used to own it, just passed away last summer. There's not too many of us left that ran that road back then. There's still a few that, like the hovercraft. I did not make the hovercraft.
I was going to ask you. I
did
meant
not
to ask
make
you.
the hovercraft. I didn't even know where the road was for a long time.
Really?
I always thought it was down at the bottom after you crossed the pipeline on the left.
Right, yeah.
It's not.
No.
It's up on top,
Yeah.
on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I would love to walk down there sometime. Have you done that?
No. Oh, yeah. They've moved outside. Scott's they're both down in Arizona now. Anyways, they took his pickup down there to go check it out.
Right.
It's so growed over that they could barely get the pickup down there. You would have to definitely. I'd like to walk it and check it down there, just check it out.
I would love to do that.
But you better have a gun.
Of course.
But and take like coming south, but you got time instead of going north. Pull in there and walk down there and check it out. I would love to see some of this stuff. It's like when I had my son this summer with me. We had made a few trips. We'd stop a couple places, get pictures and Finger Mountain and some other places.
Right.
And I kept asking, I said, we need to stop at the river and walk down to the river. Well, maybe next time. And he was getting bored. He made 5 trips in a row with me, one after the other. So he was pretty much hanging out in the sleeper on his phone. So we finally stopped. Where in the heck are my pictures at?
You can send me
There they are.
later. Oh, you found them?
This is I took this to Point Thompson. That's a D8 on top there.
May I?
Yeah. That's a brand new D8 that I took to Point Thompson.
That is interesting.
They are over, you know where Peak's yard is? The old Peak base camp
In Prudhoe?
in Prudhoe.
Yeah.
If you go through their yard and out back is the ATV shop. That's where they're all parked at. I drove them for 10 years. When Peak bought their very first one, I drove it.
I was trying to tell my friend.
Will you send that to me?
I got a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. Send
Like I say, I did this for 10 years. I've had, I got one here somewhere. It's the Park River. You've seen these pictures. You've seen that before. The arch.
Yeah. Where's that at?
That's in Barrow. I've drove from Prudhoe Bay to Barrow on the ocean with the roll on.
Wow.
We used to go over there. They still do it. We'd go over there towards in the year, and we'd haul fuel from Barrow inland to the village of Akasuk, 62 miles away. We did it one year. There was 7 of us, and we hauled a regular tank on our back. It doesn't have the suspensions like a tanker. It's on a skid, and we'll load it up at the tank farm in Barrow and take it to Akasuk. In 3 weeks, with 7 of us, we hauled 50,000 gallons of diesel, 500,000 gallons of diesel, and 40,000 gallons of gas. In 3 weeks, with 7 of us.
Shifting and just doing shifts and always.
We all had our own machine. We'd make a trip. We'd come back. They would load it. We'd take our break. We had mechanics that were there. They would load our machines for us, our fuel. We'd come back, top off with our fuel on our machines, check them out. Away we go.
So from Prudhoe Bay to what was the name?
Akasuk.
Akasuk.
Yeah, that's inland from Barrow. But we'd go to the fuel was stockpiled in Barrow at the tank farm. They'd bring it in on barges, and we'd unload it from the tank farm and take it inland to the village, to their gas station, they called it.
Okay. So
they didn't
how
do it.
long is that trip?
We'd round trip it
In a roller coaster.
and one of those, we'd round trip it probably in about 12, 14 hours. Depends on the weather.
Round trip, up and back.
When the time you left, it was loaded. They loaded your fuel for you. You go over, unload, your trunk comes straight back. Take a park, jump in the vehicle, go to your room,
Sleep,
sleep,
come back, do it again.
shower, do it again.
Wow.
For 3 weeks, nonstop.
Wow.
And you, of course, You don't always leave at the same time. So you're leaving at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, noon, whichever. However your rotation was, we would take 10 hours off. The first year we did, we took 8 hours off. That sucked. You're eating, you're doing laundry, all this stuff, and then trying to get some sleep
Right.
and go.
And then working for 14.
Yeah, and then come back and do it again. So then they started giving us 10. Or on the trail, let's say going from Prudhoe to Barrow, we'd sleep for 4 hours on the trail. We were paid for it, but we'd sleep 4 hours. We'd work, drive 20, sleep 4. Drive 20, we'd sleep 4.
Wow.
At the end of the season, I was a wore out son of a gun.
A little feisty.
Yeah, and I would stay all winter. One winter all winter long I had 9 days off.
Was it good money?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So there was a reason for it.
Yes. There was way good reason for it. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Did you?
We
Good
did.
people you worked with?
We had good people, we had good mechanics. We didn't have anybody breathing down our neck. You gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta go. When we're on the trail, they can't most of the time get a hold of us. We have sat phones,
Right.
but we go at our own pace. We don't dink off, we keep going. But the bad part is, we are the mechanics.
Right.
And you don't turn the radio up, your stereo or none of that. I drive the haul road without even listening to music.
Really?
Or a book tape. Yeah. I listen to the truck. Listen for sounds, listen for battles.
Right.
Pay attention to what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll turn music on. I had my son try to download some books for me, but they're all old mysteries. It's like, dude, okay, get rid of these and give me some new ones.
Yeah.
What do you do? Which, whatever. But I don't usually listen to very much music. And if I do, he's got some recorded for me. When it stops, I turn it on. I got my USB plug-in deal, music stuff, I'll listen to sometimes.
Right.
I never have. I've always drove truck, rolled it on, my personal vehicle. I can go for days and never turn anything on. Just listen. Especially in the roll-on. It'll eat itself up. The rollers, all the moving parts, something
You always
breaks.
have to be paying attention to.
Feel, the sounds.
Right.
Anything feels different, If something's not right, stop.
The sooner you catch it,
Yes.
the less damage that it
Yes.
could be.
And you could be out there in 40 below with the wind blowing up your hiney for 6-7 hours, or you could be out there for just a few minutes. Just depends. Me and John, one of the mechanics, went from Prudhoe to Barrow to retrieve a bunch of machine that was broken down. Had an injector going out. So we get over there, and it's still running, so we deck it up on top. Drive it up on top, tie it down. And we brought all kinds of broken pieces of parts and stuff they had tore up, unreal stuff. Anyways, we get about 80, 90 miles out of Barrow, he blows the motor up and he's rolled on. So we have mine, and we had one on carrying that's still running. We get on the sat phone, we need some help on it. We've got a blown motor. Okay, so 2 guys came from Prudhoe. They got there with another tractor. They brought a tractor for us too.
Roll-a-gon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they hauled one and drove 2. So we unloaded the good one to put underneath John's trailer.
Right.
The broken one, we winched it up on the back of the trailer, tied it down. Now there's 4 of us hauling broken stuff. I've got pictures on there of hauling triples trailers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or doubles, roll-gun double trailers. You got your front trailer, you take your winch line back, and you pick up your back trailer, you winch it on just 15 feet onto your trailer, you chain the front, leave the winch line on it, chain it from the front, chain it to the back, and away you go. You're pulling doubles. There was 4 of us. 3 of us. I had double stacked trailers pulling a trailer, and the other 2 had broken machines on their backs. And we brought everything back one time, so we didn't have to go back and pick up more pieces and parts.
Wow. Do you have any advice for somebody who might be coming up to experience
The Hall Road?
the Hall Road. Yeah. So there's a facade of, oh, cool. I want that on my bucket list.
Right.
And there are people coming up now that are inexperienced
Very.
on the Hall Road. And I know that there's a culture difference. I mean, I just had a discussion with someone this morning about that. So the culture is different, the rules are different, and if you're not aware of them, you come up there and you are doing some serious damage.
Yeah, and you will hear about it.
Right, yeah.
You will hear about it.
Yeah.
It's consideration.
Right.
This is an industrial road. It's not a tourist road. Yeah, people go up there to look at it.
And it is beautiful.
It is. It's very beautiful. We have a phenomenal view of this state with the job that we do.
Right.
Sometimes it's a real mother bear. Other times it's beautiful. Other times it's, what in the hell am I doing up here?
Right.
You know, you get everything. But as far as new drivers, I would, if they're going to come up here, my best thing would be is start in the summertime.
Start in the summertime.
Start in the summertime, not in the winter. And a lot of these people coming up here have never drove on snow and ice.
Right.
Or if they have, it's flat land. And yeah, there's some hills in the States, yeah, but it's nothing like what they deal with up here, what we deal with. What we have learned, how we've adapted to it, our training. I'm 64 years old and I'm still learning stuff on this road.
Right.
You will never, ever on that road know everything. You will not, you can't say you can't. Yeah, we've experienced a lot. We've seen a lot. We've been scared shitless. I have been. I've called my wife at home crying. I don't want to do this no more. I'm done.
Right.
She'll talk to me. I go get in the truck and I drive off. That's we didn't have cell phones. We had a phone at Coldfoot. We had a phone at the river.
Right.
That was our communications. Now they've got, different spots. First time when I was going north, when I started running again, when my phone rang, I was going up to Calvert, scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? We got service?
Mm-hmm.
They were calling me, telling my pickup was that Toad had brought it in from the States. It arrived off the barge. Scared the crap out of me. I'll never forget that. And now, we've got service everywhere. The road's different.
Right.
The rules have changed. There's not as much respect for the drivers as there used to be.
So this is a new thing. So even the
as far as I'm seeing, from what it was when I first started, the loader truck has the right of way, which is the northbound truck.
Right.
You have the right of way.
right.
A lot of guys don't give it to you. They see you coming where you might want to get a run at something. Instead of sitting there waiting, they'll beat you at the bottom. So what do you got to do? You slow down.
Right, and then you've lost your momentum.
And then you
for
lost
that
your
hill.
momentum. So now you're chugging up the friggin' other side
Right.
instead of rolling with the flow.
Right.
They don't talk to you. Nobody calls out.
You're talking about other trucks.
Other trucks. Everybody else you're meeting.
That's interesting because I actually had someone was talking about on the radio. They actually got on the radio and said, "Oh no, I didn't hear that. There's too much squawking on the CB. I turned that down so I can listen to my book."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, yeah, but if you have it down, you don't know. I'm coming through 68
Right.
or 70.
You don't have the communications like you do. Now everybody's got the big radio,
Right.
and everybody's on their company channel, or they're over on this channel,
Yeah,
or
they're
they're
not.
over there. The CB's turned down. The CB is the one that's going to save your ass,
Right.
not the other one.
Right.
Yeah, the other one's nice to have if you're running with somebody. I've got a dual band in mine, so I can listen to different channels at the same time on my big radio,
Right.
which is fine. But I still have my CB on. That's what I use.
Always
Running
on
for the
19.
X. On 19, volume's wide open. I got my squelch, we can't hear it, as far as the static. But my volume's always wide open. When somebody says something, whoa, 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 I'll turn it down.
But it gets your
But
attention.
it gets my attention.
You know what's going on.
And if you ask somebody about something, a lot of guys won't talk to you. If they don't have a CB, or they got a piece of shit CB, then you're better off throwing a note out the window.
Right.
It needs to be back like it was with the communications.
Right.
And this winter's just starting. We were told by my owner, you're not allowed to take anybody with you this winter. Period. Because all the new drivers up here, they don't know the road, they don't know the hills, they don't have any friggin' clue. This year is going to be scary. And your driver up there too. Watch your ass.
Okay.
Pay attention, because these new drivers, you know, I had a guy the other day, I was dropping a Koyukuk, and you always, you know, all you can call it the Koyukuk and drop southbound on the Koyukuk in case somebody's in the bottom. This guy come up just before I dropped off and says, yeah, there's a wide load back there on the Rockasaka, or whatever the hell he called the Koyukuk. What's even the name? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Wide load where? He didn't know the name of the Koyukuk, and the sign's even there. They don't know.
That's such a huge hill.
Yes. They don't know where they're at. Okay, now we're going to have the snow. We're going to have fog. We're going to have blows. A person needs to know where they're at. What is ahead of them? What's coming? Do I have oh shit corner coming up? Or do I have a long straight stretch up down through here? Am I dropping off of the knob? Or am I dropping off the finger? Am I dropping off the beaver slide?
Right,
You
where
know,
am I?
Where am I? These guys don't know that. Yeah, they've been following guys, you know, to learn the road, but they don't know it. Surprise rides.
How many trips do you think it takes someone to learn that road?
Oh, Jesus.
20?
At least.
Yeah.
Summertime. Now, wintertime, you're back to training again.
Yes.
You're not going to be turned loose. You're back to training again. We have, everything has changed. Everything. Your temperatures, your traction, you know, where do you need to be? Do you need to be over that gravel right along the edge? Or do you want to save that gravel for the guy that really needs it?
Right.
Do you need to be in the southbound lane? Northbound lane sucks up here. Slide over to the left.
Right.
What do you do when you're in the southbound lane? You don't just go up there. You're on that radio calling out. I'm northbound and southbound lane on 2.5 miles.
Waiting for someone to maybe be at the top, calling them out for
Yep.
you.
Or
Hey,
somebody calling them out, or if you're, you know,
stopping traffic, whatever.
whichever it might be. Or you just, you know, happen to be in that lane because that's where the gravel's at. Over there looks pretty bad. I'm gonna stay over this side a little bit. Or I'm gonna run down the middle. We used to run down that road in the middle of the road. There was a beaten path from Fairbanks to Prudhoe down the middle.
I think it's like that still sometimes.
Sometimes it is. And when you meet somebody, you slow down, you moved over,
Right.
and then you automatically went back. How many times have you met somebody when they have somebody behind them, they don't tell you? Okay, you're in the dust,
Yeah.
you're in the blowing snow, you part with, you know, you move over for each other, and you instantly go to the back to the middle. Oh shit, there's another goddamn truck there.
Right, you could
Why
have
didn't
stayed
you-
slowing down. Yeah.
Stayed slowed down, or why didn't that guy in front of him tell me there's another truck back there? I got one or two behind me. I'm by myself. You know, I'm not sure if there's somebody close. I seen lights a little while ago. They don't do that anymore. They don't communicate.
You know, and it's funny because I do that even when I just know someone's behind me, but I'm not running with them. I don't know who it is.
Don't care.
Could be Joe Blow. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But
But
somebody-
I'll say, hey, you've got another truck, at
Another one
least
behind.
one more truck behind me.
Yep. So let them know, warn them.
Yeah.
That's what this road is about, is camaraderie. You know, letting everybody know what's going on behind you and what you're meeting.
How do we fix it if it's changed so dramatically? How
But
do we change it?
I've brought it up. You know what they tell me?
What?
If you stay in your lane, you'll be all right.
That's okay.
That's what I've been told. Instead of calling out, stay in your lane, you'll be all right. I'm not worried about me in my lane. I'm about you worried about you coming around that corner on the inside.
Right.
And that's where the fuck you're going to be at.
Right.
Is in my lane. So who's the one that's going to be at fault?
Right. And I don't want to meet someone in
Yeah.
68-mile dip.
No, I don't want
That
to be
shit
doing it.
gets slick in
You
that
get
bottom
stuck in there,
corner.
and if you hit that corner wrong, it will spit you out of that corner.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'd rather not.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. There's a lot of places, oh shit corner. When you're going north, do you stay way to the outside? Or do
No.
you cut the inside?
I
I cut the
regrettably
inside.
cut the inside. yes.
Everybody does. Everybody does, but nobody calls out. And I've been dropping off, let's say, the connection. And you can see lights up there coming off the knob. You can see them coming. And you can just listen. They don't say nothing about it. They don't say nothing about oh shit corner. I'm down at, you know, North Fork Bonanza Creek, down these corners down here. You don't hear anybody say anything. Around the corner, poof, there they are. Nobody communicates. And I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to get the word out. I've talked to different people about it, you know, I talked to a good friend of mine. She's one of the big, not a big wheel, but HR at another company. And I brought the same thing up to her. She said, well, I'll bring it up at our drivers meeting. Doesn't matter. They're not going to do it. They, for some reason, people will not friggin' do it. And it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, we are pulling. I had a trooper one time tell me I got pulled over for an inspection. And he's worried about
Up there on the Dalton?
No, this is in town.
Oh,
in
okay.
Anchorage. I didn't have my log. I left my logbook at home. Oh yeah, that was first thing. I spanked on the hand. And I went through my inspection and all this. I was a 4.5 hour inspection. He went through, oh yes, creeper, feeler gauge, flashlight came out. Anyways, we get all done, and this is 6 or 7 in the morning.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, this is an all-nighter. This is a late night.
Wow.
And he left. Of course, I couldn't go nowhere, so I slept there at the scale in my truck. Next morning, he shows up. I asked him, how much sleep did you get last night? He got maybe an hour, hour and a half. I said, you are worried about us drivers, logbook. You are packing a weapon. Don't you think you should be getting sleep and have your head on your shoulders? He says, you guys are driving missiles. That law doesn't pertain to us. And I'm like, whoa, I don't want to meet you after a bad day and no sleep. You might shoot my ass. But it's just, you know, and the
Double standards.
double standards. And just like people in cars, pulling in front of us, getting around us because they can, and then stopping and turning. The Parks Highway, I hate it. I friggin' hate it. I've told my owner, I said, one of these days you're gonna get a call. Because I'm gonna reach in that car and I'm gonna grab the keys out of the ignition and I'm gonna throw them in the fucking woods. That's how pissed I get at people down there on that highway. Cutting you off, stopping in front of you. Oh, I got a passion, and then the next road they turn. And you're 140,000, you ain't stopping.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. They think, oh, I got all these tires, this guy can stop. No, I can't.
Yeah.
No, I can't. And I'm doing everything I can possibly do to wolf this thing down. We had a guy yesterday that totaled out a car because they stopped in front of him, a tourist, to look at the birds. They stopped in the middle of the Parks Highway yesterday to look at the birds. And one of our trucks sideswiped his car, totaled the car. Everybody's all right.
Okay, good. But yeah.
A few hours before that, we had another one, and it wasn't our fault. We had said doubles go up Honolulu and spin out. Another company come up there to try to get around us, and they spun out and they slid backwards into our back trailer. A Suburban stopped to see if everything was all right. Another company going north with a single went ripping up there, going to go around everybody, and hits this Suburban with mom, dad, and a kid in the car seat. Everybody's all right. Thank God it happened like it did, because the truck that hit the Suburban had a moose bumper on it, and it caved in part of the front or the side of wherever it hit it at. That Suburban spun around and ended up against our truck with the driver standing at the fuel tank because he was chaining up, pinned, and never got a scratch because he ended up in that dent where the moose bumper hit that vehicle. Yeah.
There was that one driver, I can't remember where they were saying he was at. Was he at 2 Mile? And he was throwing a set of chains. And
I was dropping off into the river.
somebody came by and clipped him.
Oh, no, that was 2 Mile. Yeah, that was 2 Mile. That was a pickup. Had hit him, the guy that was out chaining up.
So what happened? The driver was going up the hill, or were they stopped at a pullout?
The truck driver?
Yeah.
He was spun out. He was putting chains on.
And somebody in
The
a pickup.
come fripping over the hill, and hit him with the mirror on the pickup between 40 and 45 mile an hour.
40 and 40.
Yeah, that's what they figured how fast that pickup was going, coming down the hill. They were getting the tape, all the videos and stuff together, trying to find out who this guy was. But everybody kept saying that the pickup was going north, but it got the driver's side mirror. The truck was going north, obviously.
Right.
The pickup had to be going south if it hit the driver's mirror.
Does he remember anything?
The driver?
Yeah.
He's fine.
He is, but does he remember anything about?
It was a gray pickup. Not sure what make or model and everything was. It was a gray pickup, is all he could say. They were trying to get all the film and stuff off his camera to find out who it was.
Yeah.
Never even slowed down. Never even slowed down.
Yeah. So I've heard that at one point in time there were actually stations and checkpoints.
Yes.
There were.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you were running, even after the. Okay, so you had to.
We didn't stop at them. There was one at the Yukon River.
Okay, heard it. Okay.
There was one at Dietrich.
Dietrich, over by Coldfoot.
Past Coldfoot, right
Yep.
where the gravel pit is. Right there used to be one. And then after they got rid of those, there was a checkpoint on top of the shelf.
They just kept moving it back further
Well,
and further.
yeah. Well, that's when they started giving people could drive up there, but they can only go so far.
Right.
They would not let pedestrians or tourists or whatever go past the checkpoints. There's no reason to. When they got rid of the two checkpoints at the river and Dietrich, then they put one in. All it was a call-in thing on the top of the shelf. When you pull out there and on the shelf is,
Right.
used to be a little trailer there, and you call on a CB, and you have in your mirror, you had a number. Basically like a permit you had to buy and stick it in your mirror. You give them your permit number, your name, your company, and where you're going. We got tired of it. So it'd be 4 or 5 years
You
running
mean
together.
people stopped calling out?
There you go. Yes. We would take, where do you think I'm going? I'm on the fucking haul road. I'm going to Prudhoe Bay.
Right.
So then it was, I'm going to Hawaii via Prudhoe Bay. We'd say the same numbers, same names. It didn't matter. We just got tired of. It's an inconvenience. It wasn't, but it was. Where do you think we're freaking going? I'm on a haul road. I got a little pipe. I got fuel. I got mud. I got whatever. Yeah. In my semi, I'm going to go hunting. But yeah, it used to be that way. We used to have them, and it used to be like at the Yukon River with the bears. If you slept at the river, don't get up and get out.
Right.
Don't just climb out of your truck. You might want to look in the mirror and see if
Do a visual
there
check.
you go.
Make sure you're packing.
Because you might have somebody laying next to you tired of sleeping you don't want to meet.
Right, because it's warm.
You got it. I got a good example. Coming across the Yukon River one time, summertime. Just get off the bridge, and if you look on the right-hand side, there's a ditch down through there. All the little bushes are grown on top of it. It's a deep ditch. I just happened to glance over. There's a blackberry walking down underneath that stuff. I just happened to just glance, and I seen it. It's like, oh, you sneaky little son of a bitch. When you're up north, let's say you have to go to the bathroom, you check on your load or whatever.
Right.
So you just get out of your, wait a minute, look around a little bit. Or do you just bail out?
I'm not gonna lie.
I bail out too.
I'm like, gosh darn it, I can't hold it anymore. And I get to a pull out and I jump out real quick and I check. I turned my truck though.
Right. So
So I can hide behind it.
Yeah.
So one of the weirdest things that I've ever had to call insurance claim on. I just had gotten this car. Actually, I was super excited about it. I was keeping it nice and clean. Like kids can't eat in the back. Like don't.
Yeah, right.
That's, yeah.
How long did it last?
About as long as a trip to Anchorage. But I had just gotten back from a trip to Prudhoe.
Mm-hmm.
It was sitting in the yard the whole entire time. But there was some gnawed marks on the front fender. And there was a bunch of slashes in my tire. And the valve stem had been gnawed on. And there's a big hole in behind the front bumper. And I went, excuse me? what in the world is this?
A bear.
No.
Um,
I asked him. I was like, did you have anyone type their dog out here? I took it down to, and they had the guy come out and he looked at it and he goes, oh, I know exactly what it is. So, okay, what is it? He said, well, I've not seen it on a vehicle, a personal vehicle, but I've seen it on quite a few four-wheelers. And this, my dear, is a porcupine.
Oh, really?
And I went, you're telling me that I have to call the insurance and tell them that a porcupine ate my car? What?
Oh.
if I ever remember how to do that.
Yes, he was hungry. Oh, man.
Dude ate my...
We didn't have a cabin. We used to go to in Azure Pass. A porcupine got in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the teeth marks.
Yeah, it's two bones, but like.
I mean, it wasn't big,
No,
but I'm not gonna
he's-
let my brand new car that I have,
No.
you know.
No, it needs to be fixed.
And you can't quite tell, but there was a few spots
Tire.
on the tire, and I asked him about that. I was like, well, okay, I can see the teeth marks here. What's with the slashes on the tire?
Mhm.
And he's like, well, the valve stem was parked up about 1:30 o'clock, and the thing reached up, grabbed it,
The tire.
and was gnawing on the valve stem. And I went, because once you look at it that way,
You're right. You see
Sure
right back
enough.
where.
so that's why I had big old slashes in my tire.
I've never heard of a porcupine car.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Only
bears
me.
is-
Only me.
Like I said, that cabin we found, we used to go up and hunt and stay in. A porcupine got in. Well, the windows were all broke out, so they had visqueen over. And they had a piece of wood over the front window, which was only about this high off the front porch. So a bear had pushed the plywood in, and a porcupine got in there. He ate everything. The supports off of the counter, he must have been hanging off the edge and ate all the way around the supports. He was eating plywood off the floor, peeling it up. All the shelf, this place was so colorful of porcupine shit. Oh my God. It took us all day to clean this
The
thing.
porcupine did all this?
Yes. He ate everything in that. I got the
What
surprise.
do they eat? Are they like beavers? They
Yeah,
eat wood?
yeah. Porcupines do.
So are they related to beavers?
I have not a clue. Don't run over one. You will get a flat tire. Well, that trip I told you about. I seen the muskox. Seen the four bear down there by pump 4. There was a bull moose at pump 5. And I get down on the pavement and what's standing in the middle of the road? A freaking porcupine. I'm like, no way. I didn't hit anything back then, and I'm definitely not running over you. And they move so slow, those little wobblers look like pregnant the way they walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting one. But no, back to your question about drivers up there. They need to start in the summertime.
Start in the
Wintertime,
summer.
Start in the summer, run with somebody, at least 20 trips. Get to where they have an idea of the road, and then you start asking them questions. Where am I at? What's coming up?
Right.
Everybody's training these people and need to teach them to call out,
Right.
to get the road back to where it used to be, at least with the drivers.
You think that just doing that with new people would change the culture and
It might
habits?
change a little bit because the next generation that's coming up, I'm not going to be there very much longer. I got a few more years and I'm done.
You know, one of the things that I was told by a senior driver, he was honest with me and he said, Tiffany, we go through lulls of calling out. And what's going to happen?
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody's going to get hurt or die.
Yep. And then they'll go back to calling again.
Right.
And the bad part is that's the way society is. It was like we were talking about that one accident. You know, people, it takes a fatality, whether it's on the highway, on the Parks Highway, it's in the States, it's an intersection, it's on the Dalton Highway.
Right.
It takes a fatality or somebody get really hurt for everybody to pull their head back out of their ass
Or go fix the road.
or go fix it. Fix the problem.
Yeah.
Don't just keep sweeping it under the rug. Fix the problem. And it happens all the time, everywhere, not just up there. But the reason we are, you and I and every other driver is worried about up there, we know what we go through. Good days, bad days, summertime, wintertime, doesn't matter. That road has got a reputation. We've got guys, younger kids that want to run that road. And
Because they think it's cool.
They think it's cool. I want to run the whole road. I've heard about it. I want to do it. I want to do it. You can't make it from Anchorage to park up to Fairbanks on the Parks Highway. I'm dead against it. Completely dead against it. Until you have more time behind the wheel before you even get close to that road.
Well, and it's like learning how to shift. You know, I'm shifting two solid gears at a time.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I guess, generally not something that they do down there.
No. It's, down there they split everything. And even the set doubles, they'll try it. You can't. You cannot split that when you start getting down in the pulling gears. You cannot split that thing.
Right.
I don't up north. I won't split them. I'll let it pull down a little bit, maybe a little bit more, another RPM or two, and then I'll make my shift.
Right.
Because the time you make that split, it's too late.
Right.
And you know what good you're, and just like you and everybody else, what you've hauled, whether it's cement, pipe, fuel, whatever, you know what your pulling gear is.
Right.
You know what your weight is. You'll maybe be half a gear higher, or you might be a whole gear higher. Depends on your weights. But you know where you're going to end up.
Right.
And you can hit that bottom of that hill at 70 miles an hour, and you get to the top, it's still the same freaking gear.
Yeah.
You're just farther up the hill.
Right.
Instead of pulling the bottom, putting your pulling gear and creep all the way
That
up.
was one of the things that the person who trained me on that hill, or on that road, is what he would always say is, this is a fourth direct hill. That he didn't necessarily even tell me the name of the hill before he told me that. He'd say, this is a fourth direct hill, and this is called Sand Hill. Like that was.
That's the gear you're going to pull it in.
This is a fourth direct, because it also gave the volume of like the steepness and where you put that and
In your mind.
severity, yeah, where it is.
Where you're going to end up.
Right.
Where you're going to end up almost every time. Yeah, like I say, it depends on how heavy you are. You're going to, you might be a little more, you might be above it, you might be below it.
And something that you said really struck me, because there are people who will come up here and they'll think that they can run the parks and come all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. I know that was something that actually one of those companies that hired on with one of the larger companies here in town, just as an owner-operator, leased out, and they would send a driver up and say, okay, we'll follow this road from Fairbanks to Prudhoe Bay. Now, I know this driver personally, and he was throwing cable chains to get over Adigan.
Oh my God.
He was throwing cable chains and having a hard time struggling getting over Adigan. He didn't have any winter gear. There was no safety equipment in his truck. But things like that, you don't know. And the other thing that really kind of struck a chord with me is when you're talking about like climbing those hills. If you do not hit it right, you will over rev or hit that in the wrong gear and the wrong idle and the wrong torque, and you're spun out like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
You've got to be smooth.
You have to be smooth.
You've got to be smooth, and you've got to, like I was talking about drag racing. Pro stock cars have they call it a shift light on the dash. When that light comes on is when you shift. And you want to hit it perfect. They have, if you ever go to one of the drag races, they have for the fans. You can get a Charger, a Challenger, it's a competition. You get in the car, and it puts you on a drag strip, and it has the shift light where you have to hit your points. They would beat me almost every friggin' time by a little one, because he was hitting his marks. I would let it go a little farther. It screws you.
It didn't do anything.
It didn't help me then. I needed to hit that mark. And you will watch, like I say, I'm a big fan of it. And you'll watch them, the motorcycles are the same way, they have a shift light. It tells you when to shift. And you hit that thing, you hit it like it's supposed to, It's a whole world difference.
So it's the same kind of thing in the truck.
Same thing in the truck. We're watching RPMs. I don't. Probably you're the same way. You listen to your motor.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need that thing on the dash.
No.
I listen to it. I know where I'm at. I know what it sounds like. I know where I got to make my shift.
Right.
And you make your shift. And there's sometimes when you do it,
You can feel it in the pedal too.
Yep. You can feel it. Or when you do make your shift, maybe a little late, and it bogs down a little bit, or you're a little bit early, and it kind of torques a little bit. That will bite you.